The Washington Patriot Hub. He's here to talk to us about grassroots unity. Please welcome Jay Devereaux.
Thanks. Okay, well, you know, I had a great speech, but the teleprompter isn't here. I was really looking forward to doing my Obama impression. But we do have a couple of things to kind of touch on for you today. Thomas Jefferson said, once the people become inattentive to public affairs, you and I, Congress, assemblies, judges and governors shall all become wolves. It seems to be the law in a general nature, in spite of individual exceptions. Even in the time of our founding, there were factions. Let's be clear, that was their word for special interest at the time. Factions that sought to undermine the liberty and freedom won by the blood of many. Even then, they sought to control our lives and rule over us. This is also why the founders took the time to carefully word every aspect of the Constitution, why they enumerated the powers of the federal government, why they wrote the 10th Amendment, our last line of defense against an overbearing and overreaching federal tyranny. To paraphrase from Ronald Reagan, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children through DNA or through our bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, passed on for the next generation to do the same. We are all now part of a new revolution that will end the notion that the American taxpayer exists to fund the federal government. The federal government exists to serve the American people. The government exists to protect us from one another. That's what the Commerce Clause was really about. Where the government has gone beyond its limits is deciding to protect us from ourselves. But we cannot do this alone. A quarterback or a wide receiver cannot win a game on their own. They need to work as a team to reach their goal. Some might question the use of a football analogy given the Seahawks season this year. But I think there's a good example here. For a long time, our side's offense has not been coordinated. We've been the wrong players on the field, at the wrong time, in the wrong places. And we've been getting creamed. It's been as if everyone was running their own plays, completely disconnected from the reality of the game. Up until 2009, our side's entire strategy has been to be on the defense. We've looked for ways to protect ourselves individually and our families from the rules and the regulations and the nonsense that DC's been forcing upon us. But we never really looked at how can we stop them in their tracks and tell them no. Now we have people that try to micromanage every aspect of our lives, from how much water we can use in our shower, what kind of light bulbs we can use, and whether or not I can have my thermostat on 65 or 75. In fact, they even seek to control that remotely. All from a bureaucrat in a windowless room 3,000 miles away, making 25 to 40% more than the people who are paying their salary. That's not right. Until 2009, the Tea Party movement, we all sat at home yelling at our TVs, feeling hopeless to do anything about it. Those that seek to gain power and control over us all have reinforced this myth so as to keep us discouraged and defeated while they quietly dismantle our freedoms and our liberties that our founding fathers left for us. One day, my wife turned to me as I was yelling at my TV, and I'm sure many of you have done that before. No. And she said, "Enough. Do something about it, or shut up. You can't change a thing by sitting here in our living room yelling at the TV." And I'm tired of hearing it. I suspect she regrets those words now, because every single moment I'm not working to pay our bills and feed our family, I'm working on this.
Thank you.
No time. Thanks. No time for that.
I have my own reasons for doing it. I got a granddaughter that I want to have the same opportunities I had growing up, and I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. So you don't need to thank me. If you did find out what was going on this year, it's because you waded through hundreds of emails and surfed through thousands of websites trying to figure out what was happening when, only to find out, oh no, the rally was yesterday. It was 2 hours ago. I missed it. Sometimes I wonder if those emails were being delivered by the Pony Express. I know myself, I would have attended a lot more events last year had there been a better communication system. In 1772, Samuel Adams and others devised what was known as the Committee of Correspondence. It linked like-minded patriots throughout the 13 colonies, and the continued resistance to British policy, which was far less intrusive than what we see today, resulted in the Boston Tea Party and the coming American Revolution. Today we have our own version of the Committee of Correspondence, the internet, and a tool called the Washington Patriot Hub. The Hub is not another group. There's plenty of those out there. It's not an organization. It's not seeking to take money out of your pockets. It's a coalition of various groups in the state that have come together with some common goals to communicate more effectively and pool our resources so that we can gain more ground and affect the kind of change that will put our nation back on the course our founding fathers set for us. Outside Independence Hall at the Constitutional Convention in 1787, and that was over, Mrs. Powell from Philadelphia asked Benjamin Franklin, "Well, doctor, what do we got, a republic or a monarchy?" With no hesitation whatsoever, Franklin responded, "A republic, if you can keep it. The only way we're going to keep it is if we all work together to become a driving force to turn the tide of those who seek to change our nation." On the Hub, we have formed up and are still forming various committees to work together, all interlinked in the various groups. The committees include education, energy and kneecap and trade, healthcare, legal immigration, precinct committee officers, states' rights and sovereignty, taxation, and one that really burns me, particularly in King County, voter and census fraud. Finally, we ask our military to put themselves in harm's way for us. They have to deal with bullets and bombs. Can we not stand here in cushy America, stand together against the tyranny coming from D.C., be willing to go to jail if necessary, rather than become slaves to the elite? Did not our forefathers risk everything they had, including their lives, over taxation, and minor taxation at that? What is your alternative? Wave signs at the media and the Hollywood elite, failed comedians who will just make fun of you? Make phone calls that fall on deaf ears to staffers who could care less what you think? Wait for the 2010 election? Give CPR to a patient who's been dead for 6 months? If that's your choice, if that's all the courage you have, let me take a page from Samuel Adams. If ye love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude rather than the animating contest of freedom, go from us in peace. We ask not your counsel or your arms. Crouch down and lick the hand which feeds you. May your chains sit lightly upon you, and may the posterity forget that you were our countrymen. If you don't remember anything else I said to you today, remember this one thing. 1776, it was unite or die. You see that on a lot of these flags around here. In 2010, it's unite or fail. I ask you to join us on the Washington Patriot Hub, modern day version of the Committees of Correspondence, and turn the tide of tyranny against the people. Thank you.